Okay. Hi, everybody. What a turn of events that was. What's up? Welcome to the Russ Rants stream. Welcome to the Russ Rants podcast. We are going to do our very best survive impression here. Hang on, I got to kick some junk by my feet. What is going on here? There we go. Goodness gracious. Okay, so just full transparency. This is our first week of soccer, and because of the pandemic, hi everyone. Welcome to I already said it. Welcome to the Russ Rants podcast, the Russ Rants stream. But full transparency, we put Titus into soccer 2.5 years ago, and that was when he was U4 or U5, younger age, and it was a lot of fun. And then a pandemic hit, and then we had no soccer. And during that pandemic, all of my kids got older, and so, while all of them got older, they all then were eligible for different soccer leagues. And the thing is, they're all far enough in age that they're in different age demographics for the soccer league. But they're old enough to all be eligible, like I said. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for 8 weeks, we will be having an hour plus outside on the field. And I'm not complaining. I'm actually stoked. I love watching my kids play. I'm coaching Keziah tomorrow. We'll get more into that. But today, was Ephraim, and we just had a bit of a rain cancellation halfway through the game. Blah, 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 blah. There's lots going on. Anyways, hello. Hope y'all are doing well. I am really sorry for those that typically stay on top of the podcast releases. You guys are going to hear this a week late anyways for those that listen or watch on YouTube, but I digress. I'm typically more on top of getting episodes released to YouTube and on the podcast platforms. It was just a crazy week last week, so thanks for your patience. The new podcast episode is up on YouTube and the podcast platforms. It's called Beat the Mind Math. I hope you guys enjoy that. We are pioneering today. Just for those that don't know, I stream. I stream on twitch.tv/RussRants. That's actually where I am right now, live. And we do this every Tuesday. We record a podcast episode live. You can submit questions or comments while I'm doing the episode. This is a participatory event. This is not just listen to Russ monologue. It can be. It has sometimes been, but it doesn't have to be. We always have commentary now in our podcast episodes, which is awesome. And then every other Tuesday, there's community nights, and then it's just gaming. So tonight's a gaming night, which is great. Also, quick shout out, and I am dead serious when I say this. Shout out to the Ald Fart for the follow last week. Yes, we have a new follower here at the Russ Rant stream. The Ald Fart. You know how they spelt it? TheAulde, so Ald, fart with a PH, PHARTE, the old farte, if I really say that properly. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Rants fam. You too, if anyone enjoys Twitch, you also can join the Rants fam. There's no obligation, and it doesn't cost anything. You just click that follow button. Russ Rants, twitch.tv/RussRants. Yes, I'm a bit spent today, but I have, as you guys have kind of could tell, I've been in a little bit of a tear these last 3 to 4 weeks. It's just a theme, and I may or may not be going through said theme on my own, and Russ may or may not podcast rant about things he may or may not be going through, such is my right to do since this is my podcast, okay? But I've also been encouraged that the topics that I have been going through on my own journey have been helpful, okay? I have heard positive feedback. I've been grateful for your positive feedback. So as much as I feel like I'm being somewhat redundant, spinning this same theme a few different ways, a few different angles, I gotta wake up, guys. It has apparently been a relevant theme for a few people. And that is what is worth it. And I've said that before. That's what makes it all worth it when it's like, oh man, I don't feel like we're saying anything new. We're not reinventing the wheel here. But no, people out there apparently have been really grateful for what we're talking about, and for that I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, it's fun times. So this is what we're going to talk about today. So first things first about soccer, because it does relate to that. I think I told you guys a few streams ago that I've made the wonderful, daunting, exciting, and exhausting decision to coach my 3-year-old, she's turning 4 in July, 3-year-old daughter's soccer team on Wednesdays. Okay, now there's no pressure. I was fully briefed on what coaching a under 4 team is like, and it is herding cats and playing a lot of Simon Says and What Time Is It, Mr. Wolf, and Duck Duck Goose, and then you get to like try to get them to not pick up the ball. That's great. That's what I'm doing. But here's the funny thing. This goes back a few months ago when we were really hoping that for the 3rd time in a row, the Timbits soccer league that my kids have tried to register for the last 2 years would not be canceled, obviously because of the pandemic. Okay. And so we registered, and how the Timbits soccer program works is you must fulfill a volunteer position. You can be a team parent, you can be a scheduler, you can help organize the equipment, or you can be an assistant coach, a team parent, or a head coach. Well, I didn't want to coach all 3 of my kids. But there was that split-second impulse. Remember how last podcast, we talked about the mind math, where you kind of sabotage your own desire to do a hobby or do something fun. That's the negative portion of mind math. This was the opposite of mind math. I had a split-second impulsive moment where I'm like, yeah, I can coach my daughter. Yeah, why not? Like, that will be fun. Yeah. So, do you like my voice when I go like that? Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. I'll do my ASMR stream another day. Just like the entire soundtrack for ASMR, and for a sleep soundtrack will be me doing yeah, yay. Yeah, okay, you're welcome. Okay. And so I signed my name, I checked it off, and I submitted it. No less than 24 hours went by where I'm like, Russell, you are a fool. You are a fool. You are busy, you have a lot on the go, you are exhausted already most of the time, and now you're going to add an extra hour and a half every week of coaching, quote unquote, an under 4 soccer team with your wonderfully emotionally charged daughter on it? That sounds like a not okay idea. But we decided that we were going to do that. And so it's funny that I pushed myself off a cliff, could not redact it, and then it's kind of just been building up to this all, for the last month and a half. And all of a sudden it's like, it's here, man. Tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow, my wife has already threatened she's going to get lots of videos and photos of me coaching my daughter, and my daughter running around. It's in a cute, adorable jersey. It's going to be great. Okay, it is going to be great. But I just noticed that today. I was thinking about that. Life has been crazy, you guys. I'm getting ready for basement renovations. I'm tired of that already, but it's going to be good and exciting. I got some other things going on in my life, and it's just been a lot. And then I've already wrestled with the regret. It's so funny talking about coaching, but guys, you have to remember that this has been 2 years of survivalist Russell. We already talked about that in the past podcast. I won't get into it right now, but my family had a very settled routine. A very hermit-like isolated routine. This is it. Our days were predictable. It would be a great event if we got out of the house and either helped grocery shop or go to the mall for an hour as a family. That was the extent of the socialization. That was the extent of how my family got out of the house. And now as the pandemic has been easing off, we've been getting back into normalcy. I've already talked about this. Things have been getting shaken up again, right? It takes a village. I'm trying to beat the mind math. And yet here I am, now thrust into the athletic world. I'm making it sound like such a big deal. I just giggle at the fact that really I'm a head coach of a U4 Timbits soccer team. It makes me so happy. Does that not fit my persona, though? Just think about that for a moment. Does that not fit the epitome of Russ? Right? Russ, a U4 head coach? I'm freaking going to own that. But we're going to get into that really quickly. I found it so interesting that a moment of impulsive confidence of what could be going good, an optimistic approach to something that was non-retractable. The moment I clicked that online form submit, I would have to eat a lot of pride and give them a call or email and be like, actually, you know what? I'm really sorry. I screwed up. I volunteered to be head coach. I'm not the guy. Please redact. Please get somebody else to do it. Right? But they do say on the website that head coaching is one of the hardest spots to fill. So then I felt guilty, right? I'm like, oh, like I'm doing them. This is a good position. And I've had some of those split moments where I'm like, I should pull out. Like I have a few trips planned for work in the next few months. And I'm like, oh, it would be so easy if I wasn't coaching. Like they're just smack dab. They're Wednesdays, smack dab in the middle of the week. A lot of conferences, unfortunately, start on a Wednesday. Wow, I'm already getting tired thinking about it. And yet I wrestled all this time with I shouldn't have. No, I'm glad I did. I shouldn't have. I'm glad I did. Right? And then I just paused and I'm like, crap. We all do that. We all do that in our lives. Or maybe you don't, which is what we're going to talk about today. So here's the funny segue into what today's episode is going to allude to. I don't know if it's going to be the title, but this is what it's going to allude to. And I love it. And I got to give credit where credit is due. The concept of this really blew up in my mind thanks to Rad McSweet. First off, Rad McSweet, I actually don't pronounce his full username that often. Ever. I call him Rad. I also work with him, so I call him by his real name. But Rad McSweet, it's a fantastic username. I call him Rad. He messaged me earlier today. I think it was today or yesterday. He's one of my main Apex trio buddies, which is fantastic. I would like to say we've gotten better. Rad's always kind of been dead eye. I've been really hit or miss, but I feel like as a unit, we are getting better. Now, forgive me, there's going to be a bit of gamer talk, but you have to lock in here. Okay? You have to lock in here, dear listener, because it will make sense. I will make it make sense for you. Okay? Even if you're not a gamer. In Apex, we play a game called Apex Legends. Let me dial that back even further. We play a game called Apex Legends. It is called a Battle Royale style game, meaning there's a big map. Are you still staying with me? There's a big map, and you and two other teammates can go anywhere on the map, launch onto the map when the game starts, and then as time goes down, the circle about which you're allowed to play in the map gets smaller and smaller and smaller. You have to play within the shrinking circle, otherwise you can die. They call it the storm, okay? If the storm, closes in the circle and you get caught in the storm, you start to lose health. Okay, in the later rounds that the circle shrinks, you lose health way faster. Okay, that is called a battle royale. Okay, I feel dumb for trying to explain this, but I also want you guys to follow along, even if you're not a gamer. Okay, Apex Legends. We have had mixed success. We've had a lot of fun, enough fun to keep playing Apex, which is great. We've also had a lot of failure where Rad and I, and even Seabird and Cloud and Joiner, we'll swap notes occasionally, being like, we should have pushed that. Push is lingo for being aggressive. When you're fighting against another team, we should have pushed. We should have pushed in. We should have taken ground, or we should have kited back. We should have ducked back. And like we've gotten a lot of feedback, and we've swapped notes, and like I said, I feel like we're getting better. It's not perfect. This is a game that I actually enjoy watching how I'm getting better. That's why I keep playing it. It's satisfying. Okay, but Rad mentioned to me, I think it was yesterday. Rad, maybe, forgive me. He's like, we watch a very popular streamer. We all watch a lot of streamers, but there's a very famous streamer on Twitch named Nick Merckx. You can look him up if you want. You don't have to look him up. I'm just, again, trying to give you context of what the heck I'm trying to articulate, okay? Nick Merckx, very popular streamer. He has been playing Apex hardcore, I think, since last October or September. September or October 2021. He got bored of Call of Duty. He didn't like it, and he needed a new game. I remember when he first started playing Apex. It's hilarious. Like, he didn't know some of the characters. He didn't know what the abilities were. His movement was janky, okay? Well, fast forward to April of 2022, the guy plays in pro scrims right now, pro scrimmages. He plays on a very competitive trio. He's very good at it. Hey, Sir Tribond, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome to the Russ Rants podcast recording and the Russ Rants stream. Hi. I know who you are. Good to see you, buddy. Look, you even told me you were going to come visit, so thank you. Nick Merckx commented the other day that he felt like he wasn't getting any traction. He was really sucking at Apex. And this is what the episode is going to be about. He felt he was really losing and lacking traction in this game, trying to get better at this game, until he did something called W keying. until he W keyed. All right, so let's back it up one more time so I'm not freaking you out. Okay. So W keying, when you are playing on a mouse and keyboard with a gaming computer like I have, I use mouse and keyboard to play my games. I do not use a controller. Some people do. They're very good at it. Nick Merckx, ironically, plays with a controller, but this is gamer slang. W key on your keyboard is typically 99.9% of the time the key for moving forward as a character. The W key. You can look it up. Type what is W keying, okay? It's a slang, it's a term for moving forward, for being aggressive, always moving forward. In a game, they want you to be tactical. They don't want you to be strategic. When you are W keying, it means you are just going pedal to the metal. You're running through the game as fast as you can. It's typically associated, this is very interesting, it's typically associated with being reckless. It's typically associated with being reckless. Haha, right? And so with W keying comes risk, okay? And Nick Merckx was just saying how he felt he wasn't gaining any traction. He was trying it every day. He was playing for hours on end. He was putting work into Apex, trying to learn it. And he didn't feel like he was really growing. He wasn't really improving. He didn't notice a difference till he started being really aggressive, pushing for fights, W keying. And that, I don't know why, man. Rad, I don't know why. It just caught my fancy. That what it sounds to me like is that it took commitment. Russ, you're going overboard, man. Like, this is just, you're getting too deep. Well, welcome to the Restaurants Podcast. What do you want me to do for you? Honestly. Like, shut up. This is my podcast. I'm also fidgeting with my light right now, so if I sound distracted, I am. You're W keying. Commitment. Am I laughing that I W keyed right into coaching my daughter's soccer team? Yes, I am. I am laughing at that. There are other things in my career, in my life, that I regret to this day not trying out for high school football. My dad was very adamant. He's like, Russ, I think I've told this story before in previous podcast episodes. I was given one shot. I was a homeschooler, okay? Homeschooler. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? I was a homeschooler. And I had a high school coach. I was friends with his daughter. This is ironic. He was the high school defensive coordinator, and his daughter was homeschooling. I'm confused. Why is she not in your high school? You're the defensive coordinator for a high school. I'm confused. But anyways, I was friends with his daughter, and we just, did various hangouts and functions. She was a friend of mine, so I went over to her place a few times with a group of friends, and we hung out. Well, he pulls me aside, and he's like, Russ, you got a good build. Have you ever played football before? I'm like, I played peewee football at like 11 years old one time. And it was an okay experience. We were the worst team in the league. I was the wide receiver. Very small. Well, I'd grown, thankfully. I'd filled out my body a little bit. And he's like, you should try out. I would love to have you as a defensive, like as a linebacker in football. You should try out. So I actually went to the tryouts for one day. I didn't think I was going to be talking about this, but hey, welcome to the Restaurants Podcast. And I did a tryout. And I was late. This is one of my greatest fears I found out. This is a quick tangent. One of my greatest fears is being caught unprepared and late to anything I should be equipped for. It's one of my greatest phobias. It's like being told you have to be at a conference or at a public gathering and know certain things, and being told that at the very last minute, and when you go to it, you're unprepared. My parents, God bless them, they friggin' drop me off. I have no pads. I have to go to the locker room. Everyone's already in their pads. I don't know anybody because I don't go to the school. And they're all looking at me kind of funny, and I'm this new kid, and I'm putting on cleats that aren't mine, and I'm freaking getting geared up. I didn't know that, I even did there's a football exercise where you're all lined up against each other, and you run at each other, and or one person's stationary, the other person runs at you, and you bump shoulders. It's like a little mini exercise, and you're supposed to bump their shoulder, and it's kind of like a sign of acknowledgement. I didn't know that. I'm a homeschooler who hasn't played football since he was 11 years old. I'm now 16 years old. I didn't know that. So when it came time to bump shoulders, I totally missed it and accidentally ignored him. And he's like, what the F, dude? And everyone was like, what's that kid's problem? And I didn't even realize I did that. Terrible feeling. So I'm just giving you the background on this. Where's this going? I have a point. I'm still on track, guys. Trust me. Come on now. The next day, I told my dad, I was like, Dad, it was like 4 days in a row or 5 days in a row of tryouts for the football team and just to like do warm-ups and exercise before the football season started. It was day 2 and it was snowing outside, so we were going to meet in a gym. And I told my dad, I said, Dad, I don't want to go. Please don't make me go. I really don't want to go to these football tryouts. And he's like, well, Russ, it's only been 1 day, and yeah, you had a bit of a rough experience. Thank you, Tribon. Tribon trusts me. Ha! And he's like, Russ, it's only been 1 day. I know it's been a bit of a rough experience, but, like, stick to it. You, like, even give it the rest of the week. You lose nothing. You might find out that football's not for you, but at least you did the entire training week. And I was like, I really don't want to. I really hate the idea, and I don't want to go there and feel insecure and embarrassed. And he looks across the table at me. He's like, Russ, okay. Like, I'm not going to make you do anything you don't want to do. But I will tell you this. If you choose this, I actually had a drum teaching offer in the back of my mind. They had asked me to start soon. I was really just using it as an excuse not to do football at that point. But I told my dad, I'm like, I want to teach drums and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Russ, that's fine. I'm not going to make you do anything you don't want to do. But if you don't do this, you might. He's like, I'm not going to just say it over you, but like you might struggle with the what if I had tried out for football in high school. You might have that for the rest of your life. Guess what? I do. Did that team come within 1 quarter, 1 touchdown of winning the championship in Alberta? They did. Could I have messed it up? I don't know. But it just like that football team apparently was great. And I had to call the coach. That's my kudos to my parents, good parents. They said if you decide to back out after you told somebody you were going to try out for the football team, you are responsible for calling the coach. I said, okay. Picked up the phone. Hey, Coach Guy, it's Russ. Yes, his name was Guy. Okay, guys, I'm not hiding anybody. His name was Guy. Hey, Coach Guy, it's Russ. Hey, Russ, yeah, we're going to be meeting today at 6 p.m. I said, hey, I'm really sorry. I did yesterday's tryout, and it was really tough for me. I didn't really enjoy it. And he's like, oh, yeah? You didn't really enjoy it? And I could just kind of hear the disappointment in his voice. He wasn't like being a jerk. I just could hear his voice sink a little bit. I'm like, yeah, thank you so much for the invite, but I think I'm going to bow out of this one. And he's like, well, okay, Russ, if that's what you want, but we'd love to have you. And like, still a really good guy, but I was just, yeah, no, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, I'm going to pass. And off I went. Isn't that interesting? I didn't W key there. And yeah, like my life is fine. Like it wasn't like, oh, my life could have been changed, but a part of me is like, what if I had played that season of football? Who knows? What friends could I have met? Could I have been really good at football? I don't know. You know, I had a great time playing or teaching drums after that. It was great. No regrets there, but it was kind of like, And the problem is now I got kids. What happens if I run into an incident where Titus or Effie or Kezi or Yuri have something come across their plate and they say, Dad, I really don't want to do this? A part of me wishes my dad said, give it just one more day. Because here's really quick, I won't linger on this because this is still about W keying. But like, I don't know if you guys heard about this. I think it was a gymnast or somebody said something very notable that their parents made them do. They would be like, I want to quit. It was a famous gymnast, I think, with really good parents that had like sunk thousands of dollars into this gymnast career, and they were young. And they're like, she just said one day, I can't remember the exact story, so bear with this context, but she's like, I want to quit. I want to be done gymnastics. I'm over it. I'm burnt. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And I think the mom said to this daughter, okay, but here's the rule. You can't quit on a bad day. Today's a bad day. You're feeling it. You hadn't been performing. You just finished healing, I think, from an injury or something like that. Like, this is a bad day. Like, let's be very transparent. This isn't your favorite. Okay? You're not doing the best. I get it. It's easy to want to quit on a bad day. But she's like, but I don't want to force my kids to do something that they don't want to do either. So I'll tell you what, the next time you have a really good day at gymnastics, I will ask you if you want to quit. Let's hang on to that really quick. So that was really cool. What happens is she has a couple of good days later, and the mom is faithful to her word, said, you want to quit? And the daughter's like, not yet. No, I'm okay. I'm having a good day, and I feel like I'm doing good stuff. Okay. Had a bad day. Can't quit on a bad day. Has another good day. Okay. You want to quit? Like, you want to be done? We can. You're leaving on a good note. She's like, no. Apparently that gymnast stuck with it for a bit longer. Finished out some good years and finished on a high note, if I'm not mistaken. I wish my dad kind of did that. That's not my dad, by the way. This is on me. I'm not going to throw my dad under the bus and be like, Dad, why didn't you force me? No, hindsight 2020, my dad did a great job just being like, look, man, it's your choice. And I chose, but I wish he had said, you can't quit on a bad day. It was your first day at tryouts. You had a rough time, and you were scared, and you were the new kid. And that gymnast was Mary Lou Retton? Was it? Was it Mary Lou Retton? I can't tell if you're trolling me. Is it? Thanks, Ken. Mary Lou Retton. Is it actually? American retired gymnast. She won a gold medal in the individual all-around competition. Okay. No, it's not. Oh, dang. I was like, oh, cool. I don't know, man. I'm just pulling these stories out of as I go along here, right? So whatever. Hi, by the way, Ken. Good to see you, buddy. Good evening. You know, what if my dad had said, you know what? Go to that gym. It's indoor. Try it out. And if you have a good day and you want to leave after and you really want to go drum teach, go nuts. Cool. But he didn't. And that's okay. And yeah, I've got some regrets, but what am I going to do with my kids? I don't know. But W King, I find, is interesting. That Nick Merckx thing is going to stick in my brain. Guys, I was not getting traction until I just decided to be aggressive, until I just decided to commit. That W key. How many times in our life have we W keyed? Have we been like, this is awesome, and I'm so glad I just freaking took the plunge? Or other times with regret, like football for me, where it's like, what if I just tried? Like, what if I just committed? Even a certain period of time. What if I had said to my parents, I'll give it 4 weeks. And if I absolutely hate it after 4 weeks, I want to be done. And tell Coach Crawford that even. Coach Crawford, after 4 weeks, if I hate this, I want to be able to be allowed to stop. I want to quit today, but I don't want to quit on you. Can you give me can I give you 4 weeks? And if he said, yeah, maybe that would have been the win. I wonder what other things in my life, I'm trying to think right now. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm like, what other things have I failed to W key? My oldest son, Tito, I love him to death. I'm so proud of him. I'm glad he's playing soccer. He is not a naturally aggressive, athletic child. But he loves socializing. He was the one leading the chant. It was awesome. He might not be the one that's dangling kids. There was a few kids on Titus's team that were like dangling people. It's like, you should not be in this age group, man. You are phenomenal at soccer. Titus wasn't dangling people with soccer drills and wowing them with bicycle kicks. He was on, they call it the magic carpet. It helps the kids sit when it's not their turn to play on the field. He was rallying them, doing a chant for their team, which is called the Black Panthers. And every single time Titus wasn't on the field, their team was so loud chanting, the team spirit was high. Right? But my son Titus, I've noticed a lot, like me, struggles with committing. When he's afraid of something or he's not sure about something, he doesn't even want to try it. He's just like, you know what, that looks stupid. I'm not doing it. That looks scary. That looks tough. That looks hard. I'm not doing it. Bye. And I take a bit of responsibility for that because as a child, I know I did some of those things. I'm getting a bit older, 30 years old, okay? And it is going to get harder, not easier. I already know this is a fact. It is going to get harder, not easier, to try to take chances moving forward. Try a new hobby. I have no desire to ride a motorcycle. But maybe someday I should try. I don't know. Maybe I'll hit that midlife crisis and be like, you know what, I'm going to buy a street bike. My dad didn't start riding until I think his late 40s. He bought a 2008 Heritage Softail Classic Harley Davidson, just so you know. Okay? Just so you know. My dad is not what I would consider, you bought yours at 49, canned. There you go. I would not consider my father a biker. I actually sometimes forget he owns a Harley. But when the opportunity came, he tried it a few times. I'm sure there was some apprehension because I do not even associate my father like with dirt bikes or even biking, really. We got a question from Sir Tribonds. Thank you, Tribond. Do you feel like you're W King in life right now? That's a good question, Tribond. I don't think I'm W King enough, but I think I'm getting better at it. And I mean that. That's not a cop-out answer. I honestly, as this is becoming more aware, like I said at the beginning of the podcast episode, I'm self-reflecting, and that's what these episodes are coming out as. They're like a manifestation of what I've been chewing on for a while. I'm not naturally assertive. I can't remember if I've told this before, but like my previous boss when I was doing insurance, I did a performance review as a manager for his agency, and he's like, dude, you've got all the skills. You're a great salesman, great communicator, you're a great leader to a degree, like you've got your team rallied with high morale. You know, you kind of stay on top of your metrics, good stuff. He said, there's just one thing you're really struggling with, Russ. I'm like, what's that? He's like, you're really passive. Like when you're passionate about something, you can come across as more assertive, and that's great. But when somebody threatens you or like rebuttals you or debates you, you're easily willing to just back out of the way. You don't care. And he used to take that as a compliment because I'm like, yeah, I'm a peaceful guy. I'm not into it. I'm not hostile. I don't want to debate somebody. I don't want to fight someone. I'm all for peace. But really what it was like, I don't want to risk pain or getting hurt or losing a fight. And he's like, you lack assertiveness. He's like, if I could highlight something for you, Russ, you've got to be assertive. You have to. He said, everything else, you're like A+ing almost. But none of that really comes together if you're not assertive. And I would affiliate W King with assertiveness for myself, Tribond. And I don't think I've done a great job in the past, but I do think I'm getting better. I hate having to ask for permission. I want people to invite me. In a debate, I struggle to hold my friends accountable sometimes because I'm like, they haven't asked me to hold them accountable. Well, yeah, but like they trust you enough where that should be an unspoken thing that like they trust you to hold them accountable. Well, you know, someone said something that really bothered me or it didn't have a lot of fact behind it. I call them assertions, right? Like when people just spout things thinking they're fact and they don't have the burden of proof on them, I could call them out, but I don't want to. I don't want to fight. I don't want to debate. Donald Trump's the GOAT. Why? Because he's the next great hope for America. How? But I don't. They say that, and I'm just like, that's interesting. Tell me why you think that is. You know? And yet, thanks to my career now, I've had to be more assertive. So that's what I mean. Like, I'm learning to W key more, Tribond, but I'm not acing it. Do I feel like I'm W keying? Yes. Am I W keying successfully? TBD, man. TBD. Thank you for your question. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, I'm chewing on it. It's like what I was saying about Titus is he's naturally apprehensive. That risk. How do I help my son develop that? How do I help my son learn, Daddy, I'm scared. I don't want to do this. I get it, son. This is a tough moment, but can you give it a try? Can you W key? Can you commit? Can you be assertive? And we can even put a time limit on it. Because like I said, if you're talking yourself out, that's last week's podcast episode, the Beat the Mind Math, right? If you're talking yourself out of it because you're already counting the cost and you're already saying, I'm going to suck at this, this isn't going to be worth it, this isn't worth the pain I'm about to endure, maybe just give it a time limit. Maybe that's something we can all agree on after this podcast episode and be like, okay, I'm going to try to W key a little bit more in my life. What are some things I want to practice? What are some things I want to W key? And then for how long do I want to try? It's not an easy thought, man. That is a tough thing to think about because it's obscure. You might not know what some areas in your life you are actually bypassing, you're passing on right now. You're like, I don't know in my life what I'd want to W key on. Well, just sit down for a little bit. You might find out. Like I just, while doing this podcast episode, recalled I regretted not playing football. Isn't that crazy? That was dead and buried, my man. It was dead and buried. Can, it's up to you. You don't have to do the band hammer on that wonderful human being, but sorry, buddy, we're not interested in buying followers. Oh, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I don't know, chat. I don't know, listeners. I don't have an answer for it, but I don't want you to be reckless either. Because here's the thing, too. Here's the funny thing. In my career now, it's a blessing and a curse because as I've been trying to get more, thank you, Ken, appreciate it. As I've been trying to get more assertive, I have then also been called a bit reckless. Isn't that interesting? And I take people's criticism to heart. I never want to hurt my team. I never want to hurt my company. I want to never hurt those I care about. Oh, Rad, you were slow to the band hammer, buddy. You were slow. Couldn't figure out how. Yeah, Canned is polished. Canned is a polished mod. I take it very seriously when those that I care about or were entrusted in my care are affected by my behavior. Someone gives me a performance review and they're like, I find Russell a bit reckless. I'm like, dang, I thought I was growing. You know what I mean? I thought I was growing. I thought I was taking strides to move forward. And now someone finds me too assertive? I can't win. And I think that's where that self-confidence has to come from. You got to freaking commit. You got to commit. W key that bad boy. So just so you guys know, which is hilarious, after this, we're going to play a little bit of Apex. And I'm going to go in. I don't want to be recklessly stupid, but when my hesitation is to not fight because we're not ready or not fight because I'm not good enough at shooting, we're going to try to W key. Now, we might die a lot tonight in Apex Legends. We might. Or we might find that we actually find ourselves having some progress as a team. I don't know yet. Isn't that the risk? No matter what. There are no assurances. There's not a big sign. There's not a stat that says those that W key in life are more assured of being successful. The difference between a billionaire and someone who's bankrupt is literally chance at times. Right? Friggin' Elon Musk just bought Twitter. Incredible. I know a lot of people want to be them, but let's really be real here. How many risks has he taken? Lots. Just so you know. And money. Yes, I'm aware. I could buy Twitter if my daddy had a diamond mine too. Yes, I'm very aware, Rad. Yes, I know. Elon Musk is not the favorite of everybody. Okay. But risks had to happen, guys. A lot of people in this world. We're grateful. We're not grateful for everybody that's rich and powerful in the world, but some of them have changed the world because they W keyed. Think about that. It's true. It's true, guys. So there you go. That's my Russ rant. Rant. It's funny. That was a terrible way of wording it. That's my rant for the week. Let's go with that, okay? I'm W keying into being a soccer coach. I'm going to try to W key into a few other things later on. Like, it's going to get tough, man. I already know that I'm going to be more uncomfortable in these next few months, maybe next year, than I have been in the last 3 to 5 years. It's true. I know that already because of my mentality now, is I'm going to try to W key. Now, I'm not going to walk all over people. I'm not going to try to be a dick. I'm not going to try to be reckless. But I am going to try to be assertive. If I think that something's worth trying, I'm going to speak up. I'm just saying. It's going to be hard. I'm going to try it. So I believe in you guys. Okay? I really, really do. I do believe in you. And I would invite you to think about this. How can you W key? It doesn't have to be gaming. What can you W key in? What have you been hesitant in? I don't know. Thank you regardless for listening to the Restaurants Podcast. Like I try to always say it, I don't take this for granted. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you guys listening. Because I'm literally just doing a freaking venting monologue for 30 to 45 minutes. That's crazy. Thank you again, Tribon, for your question. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ken, for your commentary, and Rad, which is great. Have a great night. We're going to go play some games now and have a bit of a fun time. I'm rooting for you, obviously. And if you had any successes or have any successes in the future, if this could even be years down the road and you're listening to this old Restaurants Podcast, feel freaking free to send me a note. Send me a message on Instagram, send me a message on Facebook, send me a message on Twitch, or email me, restaurantsreal@gmail.com. Let me know how you're doing. I'm cheering for you. I mean it. So, anyways, GG's. We're going to go play some games. Have a great night, a great day wherever you are. Thanks for listening.